Deniz Camp's Ultimates has been the comic book that I absolutely love to hate. It's so bad that it's been hilarious for the most part for the first 8 issues. And as we get to issue number 8, it continues to get worse and worse. And as the bad continues on, it becomes less and less funny and more eye-rolling and more basically pathetic. And I do think there's like this weird movement out there of people like, you know what would really vex Wes and really mess with his mind? If we pretended that we thought Deniz Camp was a good writer and this Ultimate stuff was just mind-blowingly good. Because for some reason, despite this being one of the absolute worst comic books in the entire industry right now, one of the 10 worst at the least, people are acting like this isn't as bad as it is. And it's absolutely terrible. And we know that Deniz Camp, based on his social media presence, this isn't because I know the guy or people are talking about him behind the scenes. This is what he talks about on social media. Not a whole lot about comic books. He loves to talk about how much weed he smokes. He likes to get high as a fucking kite before he writes these books. And me personally, I do not partake in the devil's lettuce, but I do not hold it against people. You know, I don't particularly want to live in pothead-infested places. Like, I wanted to get out of Colorado as soon as possible when I was living there because there were just far too many potheads for my personal taste. But I don't hold anything personally against people that like to partake in a little ganja every once in a while, especially if you're in a creative field and you're looking for some new ideas. But unfortunately, it does feel like the wacky tobacco is starting to eat away at Deniz Camp's mind, and he's lost all sense of creativity, really culminating in this last issue number 8 of the Ultimates, the introduction of the new Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel's Universe 6160. I believe that's the name of it. And I remember talking about they were going to be the Guardians of the Diversity, and this was a laughable concept, and he was going to do it in such an excruciatingly bad way that I would likely have to talk about it. And guess what? I do need to talk about it. When we saw the new Captain Marvel, and she had the haircut, you know, just the way that the character was portrayed, you knew that there was something about her. Something about her. That's right. Guaranteed she's a lesbian, and that's exactly what this is. It turns out she and America Chavez in the Ultimate Universe have been lifelong lovers in the 61st century, and she has been searching throughout space and time looking for her long-lost girlfriend, because anytime two female characters get within, I don't know, about 15 feet of each other in Marvel Comics over the past decade or so, they want to make out. They want to start having sex with each other and then become lesbians because, I don't know, this weird trope that nobody can get over. Like every female superhero needs to be a lesbian, and Deniz Camp is feeding into it. And even like 3 balls into the world's best ganj, the dude can't even become creative enough to do something interesting or something that wasn't so utterly fucking predictable. Of course she had to be a lesbian and all this stuff, and that's why the Guardians of the Galaxy are there. They finally found America. She was lost from the 61st century, and obviously Midas was using her as a renewable energy source. Oh my goodness, and now she's part of the team. She hasn't done anything, and a lot of the members of that team haven't really done anything, but now we know the only reason she was there was to show that she made out with this other version of Captain Marvel. Of course, she's not the only member of the team, and I'll get to it. They've basically, Deniz Camp and Marvel Comics have basically spoiled how the maker, or the unmaker, as the Guardians of the Galaxy like to refer to him, is going to lose. And we'll get a little bit into this because, of course, they had to be lesbians, but it had to get worse than that. The new Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy, led by Captain Marvel, consists of powerhouses Cosmos Starstalker, the Ultimate Nullifier, and their very own reality-bending Star-Lord. As their Captain Marvel explains, they only survived the Maker's rewriting of their reality by piloting their spacecraft outside of ordinary space and time. While this bought them a chance at survival, it also bought them in a conflict with an army of Kangs who were waiting for them, leaving a core of hundreds of thousands reduced to just a handful of members who managed to escape the onslaught with their lives intact. And this is the core of the team, and they've lost thousands of people, but there are also hundreds of them lost throughout space and time that they've been looking for, but they prioritized America Chavez because that was Captain Marvel's girlfriend. So, of course, they need to prioritize her. And when you go through the power levels of these characters, like each one of them literally is like a cosmic fucking powerhouse. they have powers that you do have to consider Deus Ex Machinas. And there's not just like one of them. It's not just like one Franklin Richards or something like that. Literally all of them have powers that are so off the charts powerful that it's hard to even really quantify what they're not capable of. They're literally capable of so much stuff. And before they leave, they give our Ultimates, the Ultimate Universe version of the Avengers, a little button that says, hey, we're going to go look for more people because you don't want to make out with Captain Marvel anymore and you want to stay here with your new friends. But if you hit this button, we're going to come back. I wonder when they're going to hit the button. When the Maker returns with Zen Hulk and the other board members that he have. What does he have? Captain Britain in there. What is it? Sunfire? Is it Sunfire? It's the Japanese guy. The Moon Knight. All those guys. They're going to be beating the shit out of all the Ultimate Universe heroes, and then they're going to hit their fucking easy button, and then the 4 or 5 walking Deus Machinas are going to come back in, and then that's how they're going to win. They've literally already spelled it out. That's how uncreative this stuff is, and that's why you shouldn't smoke that much weed, Deniz Camp. Come on, let your mind breathe, man. You literally just giving stuff up, and in your, I don't know, Highness, your Highness, we'll call it that. You ended up just making all of them Deus Ex Machinas. None of them can be beaten. They're so fucking powerful at this point, and everything's so weird up there. And it's not the Maker, it's the Unmaker. And they've gone through all these trials and tribulations from the perfect utopia, trying to restore some sense of semblance in the galaxy. But they don't want to stay there, even though the Maker, or the Unmaker, as they like to call him, is literally present on this earth, and they know the exact day that he's going to come back. They're like, we don't want to wait around here. You got to use the button to get there. But we don't want to be here anyway. Why? The Guardians of the Galaxy come with plenty of shocking revelations, apart from America Chavez's discovery that she is, in fact, one of the greatest heroes of the 61st century, like the rest of the Guardians. She also learns that her former teammates already know precisely where the Ultimates' efforts will lead them. Unfortunately, that is nowhere good, as not the Ultimates, but the Maker, as it is not the Ultimates, but the Maker, who is destined to stand as the victor when the two forces collide once more. Oh my goodness, we got a panel. They're like, listen, dudes, you guys are going to fucking lose. Look, Captain America's dead there. You got She-Hulk's head there. There's no freaking diaper neck in sight. That's why you lost. If you're not coming with diaper neck fucking proper, you're never going to win a fight like that. But it was all just very distressing stuff. We've never seen people come and be like, hey, this is why you're going to lose. Look at this dystopian future. You shouldn't even fight anymore. And they go, wait, we can change the future. Nothing is set in stone. We just need to keep preparing. And of course, they're going to overcome it with the help of their four or five walking Deus Machinas. The last good boy in the universe. That's the new Cosmo Starstalker. The one dog, as all dogs elevated to a higher plane. I'm not even joking. The all dogs go to heaven trope, I guess. One dog stayed behind because he was the best good boy. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. It's like, how fucking high were you when you came up with all this stupid fucking nonsense? And that is the best way to describe essentially every single issue of the Ultimates. I'll give him this, that one like Ultimate Universe 1 year in thing wasn't that bad. It was an interesting, I wouldn't say take on Nick Fury, but it was an interesting story that was told. And obviously he ended up being the punchline in the end because he's actually a robot or something like that right now. And he just doesn't know it. But the dude just comes up with the worst fucking ideas. They're so fucking cliche and contrived. And of course, America and Captain Marvel have to be lesbians. And of course, the new Hawkeye has to be a fucking Indian that hates Captain America because he's a cowboy. And the new She-Hulk is on Gamma Island. And there's been radiation there. And you got Diaper Neck and Walrus Boy. And you got the walking fucking Nerve. You got the Nerve of Me. I think that was her name. There's all this stupid cliche fucking bullshit. There's not like a single iota or ounce of fucking creativity in this entire thing. And of course, Iron Lad died, but he's not dead. He's still in a Bacta tank. We keep getting notified of that one. And then the new Doctor Doom isn't Doctor Doom. He's actually Reed Richards. I'm like, oh, great. We've never seen that before. He's the opposite of the maker. And it's just, it's all very boring stuff. And we got these stupid, I guess the best way to describe them would be like Easter eggs of things that are familiar to you and I as Marvel Comics readers, but the way they existed in the 61st century was oh so very different. We got a reference to World War Hulk, but all the Hulks, apparently they did come from Bruce Banner, but they look like She-Hulk, like they're Polynesian, like the She-Hulk character there, which I thought was strange. We got Galactus, but Galactus was not the world devourer. He was the world seeder. He was out there planning new worlds all over the place. He's this big bloated fat guy with all these little things flying at him because apparently he died. This guy named Gary, because it's funny when you're on your fifth bowl out of a fucking apple bong or whatever, like, what if the dude that had the Infinity Gauntlet was just Gary? As if you don't need to be a cosmic being to be able to even hold one of those, let alone not be destroyed by it and all that kind of stuff. And to downplay the importance because it's so funny because I'm fucking high out of my mind and I can't come up with good ideas right now. So you got all these just fucking dumb Easter eggs and, oh, let's do the exact opposite of what's familiar, but you'll be able to recognize it. And that'll be wildly fucking creative. And that is basically in a nutshell what this book is, but there you go. The new Guardians of the Galaxy and the Ultimate Universe are exactly what we knew they were going to be. Shocking, she's a lesbian. They're from the future. You're going to lose, but hit this button when you're about to lose, and we're going to come back and save the entire day for you because all of our fucking power sets are so far off the fucking charts, it's not even funny. We're basically just Deus Ex Machina walking around. And I don't know, it's just boring. But I have so many people like, oh, you're crazy. Deniz Camp is on fire. Oh, he's on fire. He's fried every fucking nerve he's got. He's fucking smoked so much weed at this point. He can't even come up with a logical, understandable plot that even makes sense within the Ultimate Universe. He's so fucking fried at this point. But there you go. Have fun reading the ramblings of some dude that's just really high, thinking he's doing things that are incredibly funny or really, really deep. But of course, they have the depth of a mud puddle these days, and it's always the same crap that you've been seeing over and over and over and over again that have basically been driving people away from Marvel Comics for the past decade. But Deniz Camp is a star, and there is a rumor out there from a credible source that Deniz Camp may be the next writer on Batman. I don't believe it. I don't think Jim Lee has the stones to put a moron of this epic proportions on a book as important as Batman. But weirder shit has happened within Marvel and DC Comics as of late. The Martian Manhunter book, Absolute Martian Manhunter, is the absolute apex that a writer of Deniz Camp's capability and creativity should ever achieve. It's like when Mark Russell made it to Snagglepuss and never should have been elevated up from that. Like he had finally found a sweet spot where he was going to succeed about as much as he ever deserved to succeed. That's where he should have been. Deniz Camp's apex probably should have been Absolute Martian Manhunter 6-issue miniseries that no one gave two shits about, but for some reason we're so null and void of actual talent in comic books these days. These idiots that couldn't write themselves out of a paper bag get pretty choice projects like that are actually important to the future of this Ultimate Universe, which is certainly important to the here and now at Marvel Comics these days, and he's basically seeding it, which is really fucking dumb ideas. I do appreciate your time. If you like what I'm doing here on Theme Critical YouTube, and you would like to be a part of the family and maybe support the mission that we have here, what I'm trying to accomplish, the best place to do that is Thinking Critical Patreon. Come visit me there. There's a link in the video description. Got lots of bonus podcasts, lots of videos. You can get every audio file of everything that we do here on the YouTube channel as well. Lots of cool stuff going on there. Hope to see you real soon.